Alright, what's going on, everyone? Supreme Kami over here. So it's the time to cover some upcoming event news over here. So in this week we have this start things off with the warfare events over here. We got the battle mat heavy armaments over here. So this unit is called the Super Custom Saku F20 or 2000. What this unit is from, this is from the Gunpla Builder beginning 30. So I'll actually transition back into the Gundam Wiki just to show you guys like what series this is over here. So let's read a little bit over here. So let's see what we have for this week. Complete mission in this event to get heavy device and event parts. I think when they refer to devices, I think is there going to be two different types? Or hold up, let me see. Because sometimes there are certain weeks of those warfare brand they come out either A or B. If those are the A and B version, usually there's like a little bit of a storyline that ties into it. So I don't think this one is right, because this one is not the week where we get. Hold on, I don't think this. I'm pretty sure this is just another regular week. I want to say, maybe just another regular week. I think I'm looking a little bit too much into it. So this is not gonna be like that week where we have A or B, I think. So that is that. So since this unit is coming up from the what is it, the Gunpla Builder beginning 30 series or whatnot, this is a series that is from 2010. It was in celebration of the 30th anniversary of the release of Gundams and all that. So in terms of what you can get, in terms of like the multiplier is not gonna be that much. So obviously you have your Jake Arch Gundam, which is already live in game already. You got your Gundam Black Blast Heavens. That's gonna be your multiplier. In terms of like what people normally can kind of acquire and all that, like your standards and even your warfare. The only warfare we have, or excuse me, the only standard we have is gonna be the beginning 30 Gundam, which are probably the only one. And then you have probably like your rest over here. Gundam Ground Zero is a big project, so not a lot of people will have access to that. Helios, I would say, I don't know. Like I feel like maybe not a lot of people, maybe not everyone, will have at least one part of it. So that's gonna be a problem. So, they're putting all those like the battle logs to under, which is I guess that's cool, but I'm pretty sure not a lot of people would have someone for the blazing in them as well. So that is that. So you can see technically this is probably one of those week, just like the double Zeta week, for a week where the multiplier is not that strong per se. So that might be a little bit of a problem when you talk about the bingo set that's gonna ties into it, because like I would say majority of the player base would probably depends on what they can get out of those achievements in terms of like every week's reset. In terms of this week bingo set, if they are continue to be doing that, we are looking at the 5 parts from the custom Saku F2000. On top of that, in terms of some different armaments, you have four. So you can be looking at least 9 parts to be upgrading, which is gonna be expensive. Yeah, this one, if this one is something to skip, that is definitely gonna be reasonable, because there's so many parts that is gonna need to be upgraded to that level 90. So it really depends on how like in terms of like what kind of like resources you guys have. If you guys don't complete the bingo stuff per se, it's completely fine, right? I think missing 1 week is totally fine. So let's see what kind of different other um so in terms of some multiplier, we have the Nana Trinity from double series season 2 right there. And then Haru, oh, that's the pilot for the beginning 30, if I recall. And then you have the rest of the so Sena got the multiplier, but oh no, all of them does. So okay, it's not that bad then. At least you can guarantee like your what is it, your pilot slot to have at least a 150, 150 with all three of them. So that's still bad, but at least they're making up for that. So that's fine. So I think we are getting another. We're getting the warfare pilot this time around, the Tatsu Shimento. That's how you pronounce it. Okay, so that's good as well. Like getting a pilot is always nice to have right there as well. So that is that. This week's upcoming week's what is it, warfare, not warfare, excuse me, AI pilot right there as well. So they're not including the banner unit they would have in like a regular week, because they prematurely released it like on Friday night. So That is that, and then besides that, the arena has dropped already. So close combat, so your parameter is gonna get a bonus by 150%. So hopefully you guys take advantage of using that close combat. Obviously, I would say close combat is more towards like a melee build, but if you guys can squeeze in, close combat to a or a shooter build, I mean that is completely fine. So let me just do a little quick transition to the Gundam wiki over here. So if you guys can see right now. This over here is going to be the Super Custom Saku 2000 over here. That's the builder, the Gunpla builder Tasu Shimento. That's how you pronounce it. So the name F2000 is a pun meaning 1000 times stronger than F2 type over here, the Zaku of that. And so if you want to ask me like, oh, what kind of word tag you can expect this guy to be, I would say at least you're gonna have a Zaku type. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a forgiven right there. In terms of some different one, this one, yep, it's gonna be. It says heavily armed, so I might expect him to give this guy like a was heavy arm? Oh, no, no, no. Was it heavy armor? What is that tag? Excuse me. I am forgetting what tag that is. I think heavy armor is. I think that's what the tag is. Let me just double check for a quick reference. Let me do this and then figure out a part. I just need to know what that word tag is. Yeah, heavy armor. There you go. Okay. I'm like, what word tag is that? So I would say heavy armor, Saku type, and maybe for computer. I think for computer is definitely one they can throw in because these unit come is coming off from like a game in like a IRL, for example, right? Like in person in the real life scenario. So I would say that's probably gonna be it. In terms of this guy, I do expect some sort of like this week's warfare with tons of like missile and all that. Because as you guys can see, you have some missile from the arm like right there. You got probably some waste missile right there, and maybe I think that's freedom ship, but you do have over there in the right hand arm in there. You got some cannon right there. So I do expect this guy to have some pretty fun EX skill to be using, which I'm for it. Obviously, warfare parts having good EX skill is definitely a plus for sure. So if you want to talk about the overall suits over here, this is they call it the model suit Gunpla Builder Beginning G. So you can say this is like the driving force of your later, the actual Gundam Build Fighter series. I would say this is a little bit more realistic than what we have seen from the later generation, where you have like what is it, like your build fighters, your tribe build fighters, and then your build divers and all that. Those are a little bit more on I would say a little bit more on the hypothetical side. But this right here, I would say is close to the ground. It's like an actual, like, oh, we can kind of foresee this to happen. You can say this is they gave it this treatment because this is more of like an OVA series, so obviously they had a lot more time putting in like the effort in terms of like the animation. Not to bash on the other series, right? Because those are like 25 episode long series, so you can't expect every episode to have the cleanest animation, right? But I would say this is like the driving force to that, in my opinion. I think people can argue differently, but that's how I see it. So I think from this storyline, there are some good units coming off of it. You have Forever Gunner, which is something that we never got, I believe. Yeah, this is something they can definitely add like later on. Besides that, that is the pilot, the Tasu Shimento. If that's how you pronounce it, probably pronouncing it wrong, but that is the pilot right there. There's also another Hakushiki in terms of the GPB version of it. Okay, yeah, this is a different color right there as well. So I think this is the one we have in game. I'm not sure why they did not release the beginning Gundam to be like to begin with. I think this should have been like the standard 4 star, and this version of it, the beginning 30 should have been like at least like a Sokai or even like a Gundam Battle Festival tier. But I would say not a lot of people would know this suit. If I have to guess, this, like I said, this is like an extremely short OVA series, so I'm pretty sure not a lot of people would have seen it. Do we even have this in? Oh, it's this one right here, right? Yeah, that's what we have in here, which is I will have to argue this is at least like a Sokai tier, right? in like different other games, like this one was ranked at like one of the higher rarity. So I don't know why they would give this like a standard version, but it is what it is. Maybe later on they will do something about that. But other than that, is there any additional? I mean, there's also one for the high new as well. Also one for the Sasabi, and now I'm pretty sure that's pretty much it. So there's just not a lot. Like this is gonna be a extremely small bash unit you can see. Maybe there's some Canfa, which I don't think they'll make a different Canfa just for this series over here. Blue Destiny one, yeah, I just don't think like this series right here has potential, but I don't think they'll ever come back to it with maybe I don't know like would they ever come back around with like adding more episodes to this? Probably not, but yeah, that's I think that's gonna be pretty much it. So as I just transition back into the game right here. So that's gonna be pretty much it. So we have this week's Sokai Super Sokai banner already. They're already live. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people would have summoned for them already. If I were to just talk a little bit more about these over here, like um, so what they have been doing with these like Super Sokais, they have been releasing like obviously in the coincide with like the backlog and all that. I think they have pretty much cleared away all the mobile types or the melee versions to already. Like they have brought out the blazing. They brought out this week's the Lifeline Heavens already. I don't think there's that many more. You can argue the Barbados Taurus maybe a melee suit, but I think we're gonna start diving into some shooter builds over here, which I just have a high like like speculation of whether or not they're gonna build those two, like Perfect Strike Freedom or the Commando Quanta to be like extremely busted, shooter build. Even if those two are not like the best of the shooter build, for example, like the other side battle unit, not the side battle unit, the other Super Sokai. I don't know, like that's why I'm a little bit skeptical. Like they're dropping this on like on like I said on a premature day, I would say. So a lot of people were just not expecting it. So let's say you don't want to summon for the Jig Archgundam this week around because like oh I ran a horse and all that. Like I'm pretty sure like later down the road they will continuously drop these 40% trades. So right now it's more of like an early stage at the moment. So whatever we have like right now, I would say maybe I would say 6 months later, we should definitely see, for example, this week around, right? This Arch Gundam like rifle was up to 27,000 in terms of shot attack. I'm pretty sure 6 minutes later down the road, we should be expecting to get some rifle type, maybe hitting 13K on the mark. So I think it's not necessary to get everything for like immediately, for example, like on their initial week drop. If people are getting them on their initial week drop, is either for the event multiplier or they're just like a extremely competitive player that plays the arena, right? The only thing I see that is the arena where you have to constantly, I would say every week, get the newest parts, so you can just kind of be a little bit more competitive. Maybe trying to shoot for the top 10, top 100. I think that's the only justification for that. So if you guys don't really are not really into all those like competitive natures of it, I would say completely skipping both these units are extremely fine. So I think that should be pretty much it. So I have recorded some summoning video for these two banners already. So up to tomorrow's overview of what we're gonna be getting for this week. The actual summoning video should be already should be going live like exactly at 12 a.m. on Wednesday morning. So with that being said, that would be pretty much it. Just talking about some upcoming stuff over here as we have already know. So that being said, I will catch you guys all on the next one.